Testing, T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, turkey sandwich, sandwich, testing, T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Ollie Ollie Oxen free. LA, are you there? Waiting on this thing to load. 4 hours later, the computer starts to load. All right, I had to see if the music is good. It's as good as it's going to get because I just want to roll. ROLL spells roll. Or is it roll? R, 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 R-U-H, roll. R-U-H-O-O-L, roll. Next thing to do is figure out how in the world I managed to get these earphones tangled up in here. Hey Chile, how are you doing? Wow, welcome in. High five. Bam. Thanks for coming in to a very late edition of the Morning Move. And I'm back here trying to figure out why in the world my cords got tangled up. When you know how it goes, I pre-set up everything to avoid this and stuff just gets tangled up. I have to keep my workspace together. Now I'm going to go down here and type in hi, and already laughing again with the laugh. It sure is nice to see you. I hope all is well with you where you are. I'm picking up today's morning move off of yesterday's currency because it was so fun. I had a good time talking about the what do you call it? I was about to call it the Space Jam. The Super Bowl. I had a good time talking about the Super Bowl yesterday. Hey there, thanks for coming in. There we go. And I'm slow on the draw, responding, saying hello, and I'm done. All right, moving forward. The next thing I want to do is get this open. I have the music in the background. LA, girl, what are you doing? Y'all, I'm up here pushing wrong buttons. Dang it. Now, the next thing I'm looking for. Thank you so much. I thought I missed you. Yes, I am. You can hear it. Thank you so much. Yes, one thing at a time over here. I am working slow and steady to win the race while multitasking on here, believing that I will not accidentally push the wrong button again. Where is it? You guys, I'm looking for something. Oh, I found it. Look at me. Practice makes perfect. So as I was saying, I was picking up from yesterday's live stream when I was talking about the whole Super Bowl situation of it all. So much so I wanted to pick back up and read what else Stephen A. Smith had to say about what all my cool peeps were in the chat talking about yesterday. And yesterday, I found that it seems like a lot of my cool peeps who joined me on the live stream yesterday seem to have an issue with Drake May. So I was like, well, what's going on with this guy? You know, and who is he outside of the fact that, shoot, I just found out he played for the Patriots. Then as I started to read all the information that AI Overview provided, I'm like, well, good mercy. And unfortunately, as I was reading all the information that AI Overview provided yesterday, because I typed in something like, why do some people dislike Drake May? and a whole list of stuff just start typing up on the screen. I'm like, dog. And in addition to that, AI Overview even did a chart breakdown on all the times he messed up in the game from the Super Bowl. I was like, whoa. And as I started to read the things that Maye did according to AI Overview's stats summary, all my cool peeps in the chat were like laughing or agreeing, like, that's it, exactly, that's why I don't like them. You know, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is sad. So having said that, I was like, I look forward to seeing what in the world Stephen A. Smith was going to have to say on First Take regarding the whole Maye of it all, by way of his team losing. His team meaning the Patriots. Now I don't know if Stephen A. was looking forward to the Patriots to winning, but his meaning Maye. How are you doing today? Good morning. High five. Bam. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Slow and steady wins the race as usual. And let me say hello to you too. Now I know there's going to be a point in time where this chat going to get real full, and sometimes it's not. But while you're here, I'm going to definitely say hello this way. So I have my notes written down so I can go right into the questions. I have the computer. Y'all, I was about to say I have the computer fueled up like it's a car. I need you to run out there and fuel up the computer because we got to get going. Yeah, fuel up the computer. Hello, how are you doing? High five, bam, and welcome in. My question is written down here on my royal clipboard. Do you guys still write with ink pens and paper, or do you type everything? I think it's best to do both because you don't want to lose the art of writing things, because if you don't, you'll lose it. So my question, y'all, this is a long question. So I'm getting ready to type it into the AI overview so we can kick back some answers. The question says, Maye. Why don't many people like him? What did Stephen A. Smith have to say about him yesterday, which was 020926 on First Take? I missed First Take yesterday. I wanted to see Stephen A. Smith's response live and in living color. But our schedules got changed around, so unfortunately I did miss it. And I did scour the YouTube streets to see if I could find it, to which I did, but I didn't watch it nor listen to it because it's not the same as watching it in real time while drinking coffee, watching it on TV from First Take. So, Maye, why don't many people like him? What did Stephen A. Smith have to say about? And y'all, I'm hungry because it's a little later. Usually I will be usually on getting ready to start my break right now. It's 11:30, so I'm actually starting this live stream when I'm supposed to be ready to sit down in front of the TV eating my food. So I brought my food with me. And oh my goodness, for those who were inquiring, I did inform my cool peeps yesterday in the late evening that I was going to be on this live stream really late today because I had to get some things done around the house and so on with my family. So I didn't go on today at the usual time of 5 a.m. ET time. So for those who were inquiring whether or not my family and I are okay, yes, we are okay. Thank you for asking. We got everything squared away. Some of the things as I speak are getting sorted out in the background, which is why I was late today. And which is why I am going to miss my 11:30 break time. In the spirit of professionalism, I shall show up to the call of duty. Now, can I finally get around to typing this question into AI overview so I can read what it has to say? It takes some type of mental strength to be able to chat with you guys at the same time and type and think. All right, to say about him yesterday 020. I appreciate you guys' patience. Slow and steady over here today, but I am here. Bam, I finally typed the question. So I have Drake May. Why don't many people like him? Question mark. What did Stephen A. Smith had to say about him yesterday on First Take? Now here's some old information here. What is this? Why is it kicking out the answers from last year? It's not going in the way I want. So, what did Stephen A. Smith think of Drake May? How can I ask this? Football play during 2026 NFL Super Bowl. I had to reframe the question. I had to rephrase the question because the information that was brought up is something I don't want to read first. I want to read that second. It pulled up something about what Stephen A. Smith said regarding Drake May from last year, and I want to specifically read what he said about his performance per the Super Bowl game this year. So I had to reframe the question. I apologize for the beginning of the show being dry just like the Super Bowl game was this year. I hear talking in the background. Do I have some other tabs open? Girl, what are you doing? I wrote it down. Here it is. So what did Stephen A. Smith think of Drake May football play during 2026 NFL Super Bowl? Y'all ready to see it? Y'all probably already read it. According to where is my sandwich? According to AI Overview, following the New England Patriots loss in Super Bowl XL, to which I learned that XL means, well, LX means 50. Tell me something. Watch. In a couple of weeks, I will soon forget that's what the number means. Following the New England Patriots loss to Super Bowl LX on February 9th, 2026, Stephen A. Smith expressed the quarterback's Drake May, quote, never stood a chance, end quote, due to severe deficiencies in pass protection. Pass protection? Smith indicated that while Maye attempted to overcome these issues, the Patriots' inability to protect him made success impossible. Made success impossible. How do you make success impossible? Hamburger helper makes a great meal. Intentionally and improperly failing to prepare for the future. Makes success impossible. Key takeaways on Stephen A. Smith's view of Maye's Super Bowl play: no chance to succeed, lack of protection, house money, sentiment. What are we talking about? Game prediction. So the key takeaways on Stephen A. Smith's views of Maye's Super Bowl play are as follows. Y'all, this is crazy. Number one, no chance to succeed. Smith felt sorry for Maye, noting that despite his efforts, the quarterback was consistently under pressure. What type of pressure was he under? Now, that is a follow-up right there. What type of pressure was... What type of pressure was Drake under? That will be my follow-up question. And then number two, lack of protection. The core issue highlighted was the offensive line's failure to protect Maye as he was stacked multiple times during the postseason. This is what I want to know. What this part means. It says, quote, house money sentiment. It's got leading into the game. Smith mentioned Maye was playing with, quote, house money, end quote, as he was not expected to beat the heavily favored Seattle Seahawks. House money. So, look, correct me if I'm wrong or fill me in. Is he talking about some type of gambling situation? Or is he metaphorically speaking when he say house money? So right now, I'm asking here, I asked, what did Stephen A. Smith think of Drake Maye football play during the 2026 NFL Super Bowl? It said no chance to succeed, lack of protection, house money sentiment, and lastly, according to AI Overview, pre-game predictions. Pre-game predictions. Smith correctly predicted that the Patriots offense would struggle significantly against the Seahawks defense. Y'all, that's so messed up. Despite the loss, the narrative focused more on the team's inability to support the quarterback rather than a failure on Maye's part. Dog. Okay. So it says Stephen A. Smith. So I'm saying it seems like to me he took a different spin to it. Wow, thank you so much for that. Wow, I saw the little sticker thing. That was cute. Thank you so much. High five. Bam. So how I'm interpreting this, according to AI Overview, Stephen A. Smith took a different interpretation on the takeaway in reference to Drake Maye's playing during this year's Super Bowl. Instead of being like how disappointed and mad and all the other words they said to describe their upsetness with his play, saying that he underperformed and all that stuff or whatever. Stephen A. says here, according to AI Overview, despite the loss, the narrative focuses more on the team's inability to support the quarterback rather than a failure on Maye's part. So he's not just placing the brunt of the Patriots' loss solely on Drake, but he's spreading the blame evenly all across the board to the team. Thank you so much for that, for your donations. Please give me a moment because I do want to additionally type in thank you for that. Thank you for the bronze medal and the torch. Shout out to the Olympic people. I've been watching a little bit of the Olympics. Y'all, figure skating was on last night and that was so awesome. Thank you, Josh Flag. I was trying to type to you. I'm doing that right now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And welcome. I'm gonna be a little bit sad when the Olympics leave because it's great for filler content to have on in the background while the TV's on. I went and pushed the deep dive overview of what did Stephen A. Smith think of Drake Maye football during 2026 NFL football. So sometimes when I do the deep dive overview, what it will do is kind of repeat what I just said, but in between the sentences, it will insert an additional amount of information. So following the New England Patriots 29-13 loss to the Seattle Seahawks in Super Bowl LX, known as Super Bowl 50, on February 8th, 2026, Stephen A. Smith stated that quarterback Drake Maye, quote, never stood a chance, end quote, due to the team's inability to protect him. I do like his point of view on that. Instead of just placing the whole entire blame on him meaning Drake, he spreaded it around all across the board. Fun fact for myself, I didn't even know Drake Maye. He was born in 2002. Y'all, I graduated from high school in 2002. You mean to tell me? So technically, the people I graduated in high school with, who had kids early on in life, have kids who are now at the age to be able to be in football league, NFL. Y'all, where's the time going? That is crazy. Continuing on with AI overview, Smith expressed sympathy for both Maye and the Patriots defense. Y'all, wish I could have saw that. Emphasizing that Maye was, quote, under siege, end quote, by a ferocious Seahawks defense that recorded 6 sacks and 3 turnovers. Now, we're not talking about Apple turnovers. Even though in football, the only turnover I want to see are Apple turnovers, we talking about the Seahawks defense that recorded 6 sacks and forced 3 turnovers. Shouts out to all the people who do like Apple turnovers. Welcome in. High five. Bam. My name is LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. I'm having a good time, real slow time here today. Taking my time for a set amount of time as I toggle through the world of YouTube. Here's some more information that I want to read. Stephen A. Smith's key takeaways: lack of protection, predictable outcome, and sympathy for effort. I'm curious about the bullet point of sympathy for effort. Lack of protection. According to AI Overview, Smith criticized the Patriots' offensive line for failing their quarterback, noting Maye was sacked 21 times during the 2025-2026 postseason, the most by any quarterback in a single postseason. I want to say shouts out to the postseason, and I want to say shouts out to Green Day, who performed the pregame entertainment. It was it a 6-set song selection that I unfortunately missed because I had to find out the hard way, which was the day after the Super Bowl, that Green Day performed during the Super Bowl, not at halftime, but at the pregame. I was so disappointed. Thank you so much for the compliments. Welcome into the show. Today we are talking about Stephen A. Smith versus Drake Maye of the NFL Patriots. Stephen A. Smith key takeaways: predictable outcome. Prior to the game, y'all gotta turn this TV down. I hope the TV not picking up in the background, y'all. Oh, I cannot. Let me turn that down real quick. I don't want to get a copyright strike. I've come too far to get struck down. And in addition to that, I lost my place. Fooling around up there with the TV. Predictable outcome. Prior to the game, Smith had, quote, completely written off, end quote, the Patriots. Wow. Predicting that little chance against the Seahawks' #1 ranked defense. Yo, I'm getting ready to copy and paste this point into the chat. Even though you probably already know all of this stuff, it's nice to get more verbiage about it. Because sometimes just sitting in front of the TV, listening to what Stephen A. Smith has to say, sometimes I don't catch everything. But for the most part, I like his takes. And if I don't have the closed captioning on while he's talking, I'm definitely going to miss a few things. So with this, why y'all didn't tell me I had mustard on my hands? I'm up here eating my sandwich. Did I spill some mustard on my soup? Y'all, look, this is supposed to be my lunchtime, but I'm on here working in a different time today. Y'all didn't even tell me. I'm up here, mustard coming out of my sandwich. Up here having me look crazy. Sympathy and effort. Despite the loss, Smith felt sorry for Maye, acknowledging he tried to overcome the team's, quote, deficiencies, but could not win the game single-handedly. Of course, it's not a one-man show. If that was the case, he do better becoming a YouTuber who play only NFL football games if he want to be a solo player, because in real life, in the NFL, there cannot be just one star. It's definitely a group effort. Drake, Maye Super Bowl 50 stats. According to AI Overview says here, while Maye set a Super Bowl record for the most passing yards in a single quarter, 235 yards in the fourth, his overall performance was hampered by injuries and turnovers. How can you be hampered by injuries? It's a sad shame. Want some of my sandwich? Moving forward. Okay. Y'all know I'm silly. For those of you who don't know, you're going to soon find out that I'm silly. All right, so here's Drake Mayo's Super Bowl stats, y'all. Completions and attempts 27-43, passing yards 294, passing touchdowns Charlie Brown are 2, interceptions 2, 1 return for a TD, sacks taken number 6, fumbles lost 1. QB rating 79.1. Y'all, when I was going to school, I would have loved to have seen the 79.1 on any of my math tests. If I could have just, boy, I tell you, my high school GPA probably would have been 5.5. Nah. No, what's the highest thing you can get in high school when you graduate? Like 6.0? Well, mine would have been like 12.0. Maye later revealed he played with a pain-killing injection in his right shoulder due to an injury sustained in the AFC Championship game. Following the game, he expressed the desire for a, quote, redo, end quote, admitting that the turnovers and opportunities in the first half decided the game. Now, when I was reading something similar to what I just read about this, it said on the computer that a lot of people didn't like him using his shoulder as what appeared to be the reasoning for why he didn't play well in the game, you know. So I'm going to write in my notes, how did the fans feel? How did the fans feel when he blamed his lack of performance? Y'all, this sandwich I'm eating is good. I might have to make another one. So I have that, and I wrote a question that I want to ask. What type of pressure was Drake under? Because Stephen A. Smith said that, Drake was under some pressure. Who isn't under pressure? But for Stephen A. Smith to point out that he was under pressure, it must have been more than the traditional, typical NFL working hard out on the field type of pressure. So I'm going to ask AI overview if it could explain to me so I can tell you what type of pressure was he under. Okay, pressure cooker. Now you can't be cooking chitlins out there on that field, Drake. And number two, what you doing eating chitlins anyways? Put the pressure cooker away. Put the pressure cooker away. Do, do, do. Can you please tell me what kinds of pressure he was under? We're about to find out what kinds of pressure he was under. During Super Bowl 50 on February 8th, 2026, Stephen A. Smith argued that Drake May was under immense pressure from multiple sources. Thank God it wasn't multiple sclerosis. It says he was under immense pressure from multiple sources. Most notably a failing offensive line and physically limiting injury. And a physically limiting injury. What would constitute as a physically limiting injury? Because as much as they get tore up on the field and you run their body through a CAT scan after a football game, that whole thing gonna light up. Just lighting up everywhere. Types of pressure on Drake May. We've got physical defense pressure, offensive line collapse. What the H? He fell out? She saw Chucky and she fell out. Injury and pain management, narrative and psychological pressure. Don't we all have psychological pressure? Some of us suffer from psychological pressure more than others. But according to AI overview, under the question of can you please tell me what kinds of pressure Drake May was under? It says this: physical defensive pressure. May was, quote, under siege, end quote, by the Seattle Seahawks' top-ranked defense. He was sacked 6 times and pressured 19 times, the most any player allowed in a single game that season. Putting the pressure on the poor child. Y'all, he was just born in 2002. Can y'all give him some room to breathe? No, you cannot give him room to breathe. This is the NFL. It is the army of footballs. You signed up to probably get broken bones. So this is what you signed up for. So get ready. Bovine. Shoo, moo, moo. Moo, moo. Moo, moo, moo. Bovine. High five. Welcome into the morning moo. It is 11:49 a.m. Eastern Standard Time over here in the wonderful state of Georgia. We are on morning moo a little later than usual today. But the show must go on. Thank you so much for coming in and giving this wonderful chat a thumbs up and for your donations. What time is it where you are? Offensive line collapse. Smith highlighted that May, quote, never stood a chance, end quote, because his protection failed him. Rookie left tackle Will Campbell alone allowed a season-high 14 pressure during the game. Y'all, they talking about all this pressure starting to make, like, my chest feels some type of way. When you walking underwater like Goku you training, for your next fight, you punching the water while you're under the water, reading about all this pressure that Drake Maye was under during the Super Bowl starting to make me feel tired. Injury and pain management. Now, this is the part I'm interested in because, from what I'm gathering, it was only then after the game where he was not under investigation, but had an interview that he mentioned that he had to get a shot because, to help with his arm. So having said that, injury and pain management. Maye played with a significant injury to his right throwing shoulder sustained in the AFC Championship. He revealed after the game that he received a pain-killing injection to numb the shoulder, which Smith and other analysts noted contributed to a, quote, weak or off-target throws. My question is this, guys. Why didn't he take the shot before the game? Why did he have to wait till after? Now, I don't know everything about football. I only know a smidget, and that's based on how long I can retain the information. Having said that, I'm going to assume that based on the information that I've gathered, perhaps he did not take the shot before the game because this specific painkiller shot may have steroids in it. So, to my knowledge, I don't think in anything professional, football, hockey, basketball, and so on, you are supposed to be taking steroids. So, maybe that's the reason. But perhaps he led off at the beginning of the game that his shoulder was in fact hurt. Maybe him announcing it after the game would have been more well received. However, it could be a double-edged sword of thought. If he announced at the beginning of the game that he was having shoulder injury, that would have lighted a fuel under his opposition's team, and they could have just intentionally started to antagonize his shoulder. So I get it. Now, this is my perspective on the outside looking in based on all the information that I've been gleaming since yesterday to today. You're more than welcome to chime in if I'm wrong, because there's always someone out there with nothing better to do, itching to correct somebody. Narrative and psychological pressure. According to AI Overview, leading up to the game, Smith debated that Maye faced more pressure to prove himself than his counterpart, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. He also set a dubious NFL record by being sacked 21 times over the course of the 2025-2026 postseason. Now, it keeps referring to his last year performance, but it seems like he may have did a good job last year because it keeps reporting back to things then. So he also set a dubious NFL record by being sacked 21 times over the course of the 2025-2026 postseason, the most ever for a quarterback in a single playoff run. Y'all, it's another chart right here. I believe I read all of this already. Wow, it provided a chart. Super Bowl 50 quarterback comparisons. Drake Maye, Patriots. Sam Darnold, Seahawks. I'm going to have to read this. I'm going to assume that you guys have a really strong titanium memory. So as I read through this chart, I will start with reading Super Bowl 50 quarterback comparisons from Drake Maye of the Patriots first. Pass completion attempts, 2743. Passing yards, 295, guys. Touchdowns, 2. Interceptions, 2. Sacks taken, 6. Turnovers, 3. 2 INT, 1 fumble. And regarding Sam Darnold of the Seahawks, his pass completion attempts were 1938. Passing yards, 202. Dalmatians. Touchdowns, Charlie Brown's was 1. Interceptions, big fat 0. And sacks taken, not specified. And turnovers, 0. That's the information I have right there regarding me wanting to know what kinds of pressure Drake was under during the Super Bowl game, because Stephen A. Smith mentioned that was some of the causes to why his performance was definitely lackluster. One of them was because he was under severe pressure. There was something else that was mentioned that stood out to me, perhaps when I go back to the top of my digital notes, because I didn't write this one down. I wanted to keep just talking. I can go back and read the last paragraph and see. Sympathy for effort. Despite the loss, Smith felt sorry for Maye, acknowledging he tried to overcome the team's deficiencies but could not win the game single-handedly. Wow, what was that thought? How did his fans feel when he blamed his lack of performance on his shoulder? How did his fans feel after that his shoulder had something to do with his performance? Now, I want to know this for myself. How did his fans feel after expressing that his shoulder has something to do with his performance is the question that I just typed in. And I'm curious to see what answers I'm going to get dished out. Following Super Bowl 50 on February 8th, fan reactions to Drake Maye's disclosure about his shoulder injury were sharply divided. Sharply divided. Ranging from accusations of, quote, making excuses, end quote, to expressions of empathy and pride in his season-long performance. Mixed fan sentiment. Accusations of excuses, support and gratitude, analytical skepticism. Dang, not analytical skepticism. Break out the big words. Bringing out the SAT dialogue. Validation of observation. So right at the top of the key, accusations of excuses. Many fans and critics dismissed the injury news as, quote, cope, end quote, or a giant bowl of excuses. Dang, not a giant bowl of excuses for the Super Bowl. So, for Super Bowl 50, Drake Maye serves up a giant bowl of excuses for this year's Super Bowl. A common sentiment among this group was that, quote, if you're good enough to go, you're good enough to go, end quote, implying that mentioning the injury loss was an attempt to deflect blame. Number 2, support and gratitude. Conversely, a segment of the New England Patriots fans base expressed gratitude for Maye leading the team to a Super Bowl appearance that many did not expect at the start of the season. Fans like Ashley Hill noted that, quote, Drake made it great, end quote, choosing to focus on the team's overall journey rather than the final score. Can we all just take time to celebrate the overall journey and not the destination? We enjoyed the journey, but they lost at the destination. Analytical skepticism is what I was waiting for. I'm curious to see what AI Overview brought up on this. Some fans arranged that the injury was secondary to other issues, such as, quote, Porce's, end quote, offensive line that allows season-high 14 pressures from a single player, Will Campbell. Will Campbell, they felt that even a healthy Maye would have struggled under that level of defensive pressure. Man, it's got to be tough facing up against these people. Validation of observation. On social media and fan forums, some pointed out that Maye's misinformed throws and lack of zip on the ball during the game finally made sense after the injection was revealed. So you mean to tell me there's some people, of course, including myself, were not aware that he had, something going on with his shoulder until after the game? Is it somewhere in the NFL clause that when and if a player gets hurt, let's just say, for example, Drake's shoulder was hurting, all right? Do he have to make a public announcement stating that in the game he'll be playing, he is working under ailments such as his shoulder hurting? Or is he allowed to keep that to himself and just play on through it? Like at concerts and stuff, you go pay money to go see someone sing, and they'll be like, "Hey guys, I'm losing my voice, but I'm still here." Before they start singing, because they know that people build out time in their lives, set aside some money to come watch them sing and perform, so they don't want to just cancel because they are under the weather or may have some issues with their throat. They'll just announce before they start singing, "Look, this may not be my best performance, but I'll give it my best." So I'm wondering if they are under some type of contractual obligation to announce these things, or if they have the option to hold that information and show up to the game operating as if nothing is wrong with them in the first place. So I definitely want to write that question down. Do the players to not inform people if they are hurt before starting the game? I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Drake May's stance on the injury. Despite the backlash, May himself attempted to avoid using the shoulder as a crutch during his emotional post-game press conference. Refusal to blame, emotional response, off-season outlook. Under refusal to blame, according to AI Overview, May stated, quote, "I wouldn't put the team in harm's way to not be myself," end quote, and admitted he, quote, "just didn't make the plays tonight," end quote. Emotional response. Visibly fighting back tears, he expressed that the loss definitely hurts, of course, and that he was motivated to get back to the Super Bowl stage and, quote, "not have this feeling," end quote, again. That's pretty sad, Off-season outlook. On February 10th, 2026, May clarified that he does not believe he will need surgery. That's good. Stating that time is the best healer, but you're working on the schedule. Well, his season is over. Everybody's season is over. How much time do you think he'll need to heal his shoulder, since he may not have to have surgery? Once again, May clarified that he does not believe he will need surgery, stating that time is the best healer for throwing shoulder injury. How long it will for. Now I'm asking, how long do you think it will take for his injury to heal? Let the healing begin, ladies and gentlemen. How long do you think it will take for his injury to heal? According to AI Overview, Drake, Maye, and team medical staff believes his shoulder will heal naturally during the offseason, though rest and time away from football rather than medical intervention. Yeah, try to refrain from surgeries. As of February 10th, which is today, guys, Maye has confirmed the following regarding his recovery. No surgery required, healing timeline, and time is the best healer. No surgery required. Maye explicitly stated during his end-of-season press conference that the injury to his right throwing shoulder does not require off-season surgery. Healing timeline. While no specific date for the 100% health was given, Maye noted that the Patriots are scheduled to return for the start of this offseason program in 10 weeks, y'all. Early May 2026, he expressed confidence that the time off before minicamp will be sufficient for a full recovery. 10 weeks, man. It's like they're working around the clock. Now, I heard of that Christmas song, rocking around the Christmas tree. But these people working around the clock, you see. Time is the best healer. Maye repeatedly used this phrase to describe his recovery plan, emphasizing that he just needs a period of rest after a long 30-week throwing season. 30 weeks, and is that including or not including the preseason? 30 weeks, man. I've heard of 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That movie. How come I always forget the name of that movie? 2 weeks. It's not Blade Runner. Oh my gosh. I always forget the name of the movie. Medical experts have noted that for minor shoulder strains or pain managed by injections, typically recover for an athlete. Wait, I messed that all up. Medical experts have noted that for minor shoulder strains or pain managed by injections, typical recovery for an athlete to return to unrestricted activity ranges from 2 to 6 weeks, provided there is no structural damage like a labrum tear. So this is why he said, by him being off for 10 weeks, that should give him ample time to heal. Y'all, I didn't even type welcome over here. WLCOM. Welcome in. There we go. And then I have a question regarding this here. Do the NFL players have to not inform people if they are hurt before a game? I'm waiting for the question to load up. I asked, do the NFL players have the luxury to not inform people if they are hurt before a game? NFL players and their teams, according to AI Overview, do not have the luxury of keeping injuries a secret. They are strictly required by league policy to disclose to them to ensure integrity of the game and provide a level playing field for sports bettors. NFL personal injury report policy mandates that all significant or noteworthy injuries must be reported, even if the player is a warrior who intends to play through the pain. Key reporting requirements: practice reports, game status reports, in-game updates, guys. Teams must list any player with a reportable injury by 4 p.m. our time, ET time, each practice day. This must include specific body parts, examples right shoulder rather than the upper body, and the player's level of participation. Game status reports By the Friday before Sunday game, teams must categorize injured players as out, doubtful, or questionable. In-game updates. If a player is injured during the game, teams must provide factual updates to the media and broadcast partners as soon as information is available. Which is why I asked this question, because before I got the answer to this part, I was wondering, because to me it seems like Drake didn't let anyone know of his injury until after the game was over. So that's what made me ask, do the NFL players have the luxury to disclose information like that, whether or not they're hurt or not feeling so well before they start the game? Because based on the information that I've been gathering since yesterday to today, it's coming off like nobody knew he was hurt. But no, NFL players and their teams do not have the luxury of keeping injuries a secret. They are strictly required by league policy to disclose them to ensure integrity of the game and provide a level playing field for sports bettors. That is information that's worth copying and pasting down into here. So I'm getting ready to do that for all my cool peeps who may want to maybe like for my replay gang is what I'm saying. Notes for my replay gang. I had to copy the rest of the paragraph and put it in here, y'all. Just one moment, please. I'm highlighting. I only want a little bit highlighted, and it's highlighting the whole thing. I don't want the whole thing. I don't want the whole thing highlighted. I just need this little portion. Good help is so hard to find. Goodness. Okay, I can erase all this and add this. Moving forward. Key reporting requirements. Did I read that part? Nope. Why disclosures are mandatory. The primary reason for these strict rules is sports betting. By making injury data public, the NFL prevents individuals with inside information from having an unfair advantage. To facilitate this, players effectively waive their HIPAA medical privacy rights through their individual contracts and the collective bargaining agreement. So do you think Drake disobeyed that rule? Because how I'm gathering it, it seemed like a lot of the people were shocked that something was going on with his shoulder in the first place. So hopefully I'll remember to ask that next. So we've got here penalties for hiding injuries. If a team or player fails to disclose an injury, the NFL can impose severe discipline, including fines. For example, in October 2025, the Baltimore Ravens were fined $100,000 for incorrectly listing Lamar Jackson's practice status. Draft pick forfeiture. Teams can lose valuable draft choices for repeated or egregious violations. Y'all, this is how you spell egregious, because I hear Stephen use that word all the time. This is egregious. You are egregious. They are egregious. Your mama egregious. Your daddy egregious. Everybody egregious. Throw them in the trash. So egregious is spelled Egregious. So once again, draft pick forfeiture. Teams can lose valuable draft choices for repeated or egregious violations. These are the penalties for hiding injuries. And lastly, suspensions. Individual personnel, including head coaches, can be suspended for violating the policy. Case study. Drake Maye, Super Bowl 50. Leading to Super Bowl 50 on February 8th, 2026, the Patriots complied with these rules by initially listing Drake Maye as questionable with the shoulder injury. While he was later removed from the report after practice he was removed from the list. While he was later removed from the report after practicing fully. What's going on? High five. How are you doing? Bam. Welcome into the show. His post-game admission of needing a pain-killing injection provided the, quote, missing context for his performance, showing that even when the player is technically cleared, the lingering effects of the injury can often remain a matter of public discussion. I think if they made this clear and wasn't so quick to clear his injury so fast, I think maybe he would have probably played a lot more better, because who's to say that by them saying that he was clear to play, he didn't have that other pressure on his shoulders. That's the pressure. That could be one of the pressures that Stephen A. Smith was talking about, according to AI Overview on First Take. Stephen A. Smith did not slowly place the blame on Drake for losing the game. He spread it out evenly amongst the squad. And one of the things that he mentioned was that, Drake was under pressures. So perhaps one of these invisible pressures that we did not see was the pressure of him being deemed clean or clear to play, when in all reality he wasn't. He should have still been left as questionable. So if that's the case, that's definitely not Drake's fault, because I don't think he has the authority to approve where he sits on the list of the injuries. So the blame goes to whoever approved it, who made haste to approve it. And AI Overview said it clearly that the whole reason that they have this rule where they have to forego their privacy in the name of HIPAA is because of the betting, the sports betting. They have to let people know what's going on with their bodies, because it can interfere with the integrity of the bet. So I'm like, you mean to tell me if it weren't for betting, you guys wouldn't really care whether or not these men going out here playing were hurt or not? So did Drake Maye break the rules by not informing us of his injury before the game, is the question that I'm on right now. Hello, what's going on? Welcome into the show. Hey there, and welcome in. Today is February 10th, 2026, a glorious Taco Tuesday, and you are watching Morning Mood with Elay TV. This is the question that I'm on right now. So did Drake Maye break the rules by not informing us of his injury? Please stand by as I get ready to copy and paste this question into the chat box for the world to see. No, Drake Maye and the New England Patriots did not break NFL rules. The team complied with all injury reporting mandates leading up to Super Bowl 50 on February 8th, 2026. The public was informed of Maye's shoulder injury well before the game, though his status improved during the 2-week buildup. Initial disclosure: following the AFC's championship game on January 25th, 2026, The Patriots officially listed Maye on the injury report with a right shoulder injury and illness. Yo, I didn't know he was sick on top of that. Did y'all know he was sick? All I know was that he had something going on with his shoulder. I didn't know he was sick too. So there's another example of the pressures that he faced while playing on a football game. In addition to that, he's super young, y'all. The child was born in 2002. The public was informed of Maye's shoulder injury well before the game, though his status improved during the 2-week buildup. Initial disclosure following the AFC Championship game on January 2026, the Patriots officially listed Maye on the injury report with a right shoulder injury and an illness. Practice participation. Maye was initially limited in practice, but progressed to being a full participant in all 3 practices during Super Bowl weekend. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, y'all. Removal from the report. Because he practiced fully and was cleared by medical staff, Maye was officially removed from the injury report on Friday, February 6th, and carried no injury designation into the game. So I ask this: did he only perform intentionally under the appearance that everything was well? Could it have possibly been possible that while Drake was practicing for those 3 games that apparently vouched for his approval, that he was putting on the good front so he could get the removed from his, get the injury removed from the stats? Post-game admission. According to AI Overview, under the question of did Drake Maye break the rules by not informing us of his injury before the game, it says here, y'all, the confusion likely stems from Maye's post-game comment that he received a pain-killing injection before kickoff. While this was new information to fans, NFL rules do not require teams to disclose specific pre-game treatments or medications like injections for players who have already been medically cleared and are practicing fully in practice. Okay. So then it rolls down into his Super Bowl stats, to which we've already read. But I wanted to see if perhaps he broke the rules, because it seemed like to some of the players, it was a LOL surprise that your boy had to receive some type of shot for pain, after the game. So all is clear in that regards. But what caught my attention while reading this, not only did AI Overview mention that he was having difficulties with his shoulder, it also mentioned that he was dealing with an illness. So I'm curious to see if it will provide for me what type of illness he was going through. So I have that there, and what I'm going to do is also write that down for the record, because this is the timeline of stuff that's been happening. Can you please tell me what type he was going through? During the build-up to Super Bowl 50, Drake Maye dealt with an unspecified illness alongside partial thickness a partial thickness rotator cuff tear in his throwing shoulder. While the exact medical diagnosis of the illness was not publicly disclosed, it was part of a broader, quote, bug, end quote, that had affected several members of the Patriots roster over a 6-week period. So apparently the guys on the team were getting sick. They caught a bug and it was going around. So at the same time of him having issues with his shoulders, he was also having issues with some type of bug that he caught that was passed through some of the team members, including himself. Now it didn't specify what type of illness he had, but they said it was a bug. Is it safe to assume that it was the flu? Impact on Super Bowl preparation, missed practices, coach perspective, and recovery. Missed practice. The illness was severe enough to keep Maye out of practice on January 30th, 2026, y'all. Coach perspective. Head coach Mike's verbal downplayed the situation, stating that the team had been managing similar illnesses for over a month and that sitting Maye was a precaution to not spread things. Recovery. Maye remained at the team facility for meetings during his illness and returned to full practice schedule by the following Wednesday. Did y'all know he was sick? I didn't. Today is the first time that I just was made aware of him being sick. So yeah, talk about pressures, unseen pressures that he was dealing with. By way of Stephen A pointing that out, according to AI Overview, by way of First Take that came on yesterday. Were you guys able to see Stephen A's response to the whole Super Bowl game on First Take yesterday? I missed it. And I wish I didn't, which is why I'm talking about it today. Thank you guys for coming in. I'm not going anywhere. I just want to take the time to stop and say thank you while I'm thinking about it. Thank you for my new subscribers. You guys have been showing up and showing out on here by way of live stream and by Replay Squad. It means a lot. Welcome into the morning move, helping move power through your work week. My name is LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm Barizi. Coming in on another day for a set amount of time. This is usually the time where I'm taking a break and eating food. So, since I had to rearrange my schedule, I am eating my sandwich on the live. Did I finish reading everything? So once again, Maye remained at the team's facility for meetings during his illness and returned to a full practice schedule by the following Wednesday. According to AI Overview, ultimately Maye entered the game with no official injuries, designation. After returning to full participation in practice, though his post-game admission revealed the heavy use of painkillers. Oh man, to manage the underlying shoulder damage. I hope that he don't get addicted to painkillers, because it's said that through his post-game admission revealed the heavy use of painkillers to manage the underlying shoulder damage. So I'm glad the game is over, y'all, so he can take the time he need, be it 2 to 6 weeks, to successfully heal up that shoulder without having to go under the knife. AI Overview said that he's got 10 weeks of rest. So within those 10 weeks, he should be able to naturally allow that shoulder to heal. So I'm hoping for the best for him. Y'all, he's just really getting started, man. So those are the questions I have regarding whether or not he broke protocol. I thought maybe he did. But you know, famous people, they can sweep things under the rug for the most part. unlike us regular people. So I was searching around to see if he broke protocol by not telling his coach of his injury, but he did. But they cleared him before the game. But I think they cleared him. They shouldn't have cleared him. I think they should have left him as questionable. And I think had they left him as questionable on the injury list, that he probably would have performed a lot better. Or at least a little bit more better than what we saw this Super Bowl day. I have my list of questions and stuff right here. I'm going to look through here and see if I missed everything. No, not missed everything. I'm going to look on this list to see if I didn't miss anything. So just stand by as I look through my list.
Stand by.
Hey, y'all.
Stand by.
Welcome back. So, Drake Maye, why don't many people like him? What did Stephen A. Smith have to say about him yesterday on First Take? What did he think about Drake Maye last year? That's the question that's up in the next tab, because AI Overview kept reverting back to some stats that was pointed out from last year. So, I want to read, what went on last year. But first, I wanted to stay current with this year, after all. What did Stephen A. Smith think of Drake Maye football play during 2026 NFL Super Bowl? What type of pressure was Drake under? How did the fans feel when he blamed his lack of performance on his shoulder? Do the NFL players have the luxury to not inform people if they are hurt before starting the game? And can you please tell me what type of illness he was going through? I'm going to be a little bit more clear on those notes. Now, I'm going to open up the new tab here. Now, this is the information I'm excited to not listen to, but to read. Because when I had asked the question, what was Stephen A's take on the whole Super Bowl Patriots situation regarding Drake Maye, AI Overview brought up some information from what Stephen A had to say about him last year. And the way he's reading, of course, he felt some type of way about the guy. So I'm curious to see. Since I'm here, I might as well fill myself in on the information, right? The time right now for me is 11:33 p.m. It is officially lunchtime, and we are still here on the morning move. Based on late 2025, early 2026 reports, according to AI Overview, Stephen A. Smith heavily criticized New England Patriots quarterback Drake Maye for allegedly lying about not knowing where the former NFL quarterback Cam Newton made critical comments about the team. While Maye took a diplomatic, high-rolled approach to this one-sided feud, many fans and media members criticized Smith for manufactured drama. Well, the show must go on and the lights bill is due. What Stephen A. Smith said as of November 2025, February 2026 context, according to AI Overview, my cool peeps. Liar accusations. Smith called Maye a liar for claiming he didn't know Newton was on First Take, stating, Quote, don't tell me you an athlete and you don't know that Cam Newton is on this show, end quote. Look, it took me a minute to realize that he was on the show because they were going through this whole trial and error thing when they were, showing up with different faces on the roster and rotating them really quickly during various time slots. So when I did see the Cam Newton guy on there, I was like, oh boy, they doing the quick interview. Is he filling in for somebody because people getting fired, letting go all and quitting unexpectedly? Because at one time, who was that other guy that was on there? It was Cam Newton, and it was also the guy with the bald-headed guy with the teeth who be working with Club Shay Shay. He was on there too. So I'm like, maybe they're contending for a sad seat. So I don't know. I missed the memo too when they officially made Cam Newton a part of ESPN. Quite honestly, I don't recall seeing a grand rollout. I don't recall seeing commercials about now introducing Cam Newton to First Take or ESPN in general. So I don't know if the guy was being funny or not, but from my take, it's just like Cam Newton just one day showed up and stayed. And it's like, now we just got to deal with him. And that's just how I see it. Number two, where's that bald-headed guy with the teeth that be working with Club Shay Shay? What happened? According to AI Overview, it says here, based on late 2025-2026 report, Stephen A. Smith heavily criticized New England Patriots quarterback Drake Maye for allegedly lying about not knowing where former NFL quarterback Cam Newton made critical comments about the team. Context: this stemmed from Maye dismissing Newton's claim that the Patriots' winning streak was, quote, fool's gold, end quote. Subsequent stance. Smith later walked back the intensity of calling him a liar, but did not back down from his overall point. Dang, Stephen A. up here calling folks big fat liars. Well, I see he is standing up for his co-workers at least. So from one point of view, in the spirit of standing up for your co-workers and new hirees, I get it. But this isn't high school. This is a place of professionalism brought to you by Disney somewhere in there. So he had to backtrack that according to AI Overview. Subsequent stance. Smith later walked back the intensity of calling him a liar, but did not back down from his overall point. Were you guys there in that moment in time when he did that? Said that, yada, yada, yada. Other notes, reports include Smith continued to cover the Patriots, noting they could not protect Maye during high sack postseason type matchups. Look, I'm glad I don't have to do any type of nothing before I have to work, because that sounds like one job too many, or should I say 2 jobs too many. In the NFL, you always have to be ready so you don't have to get ready. Who want to live like that? It's like you always looking over your shoulder. I gotta hit this gym because if I miss one day, it might show up when I play on the field on the game of importance, and I'll never be able to live it down. It'll be booked in history like Rudolph, going down in eternal history. I tell you, the stuff that sticks to your history timeline is the stuff that embarrasses you the most. Welcome to life. Welcome to the NFL. Perhaps in a month's time, this will all blow over for Drake Maye. Once again, according to AI Overview, he's just a small child. Poor child, just a baby born in 2002 and already under public scrutiny. Tear him apart. Heaven help him. Hopefully he's close with his family. Have a nice circle around him so he can heal without the stress and drama. Moving forward, according to AI Overview, it says here, once again, reports indicate Smith continued to cover the Patriots, noting that they could not protect Maye during the high sack postseason type matchup. Why some people don't like or criticize him? Oh boy. Let me get a sip of water first before I read this part. Outside noise media drama. The criticism seems largely driven by manufactured media debates rather than Maye's performance. As noted by media analysis, it was a, quote, one-sided feud, end quote, designed to feed the beast of embrace debate. Now, embrace debate was one thing that they were doing almost entirely too much of, after the C-19 did take over. So I'm glad they did dial it back down a little bit and started having their great debates be more around sports and stats and fun and funny things that happen while these players are on the field or off the field. As they dive into their social media lives of relationships and anniversaries and all that stuff, it is nice to see the people on First Take getting back to the meat and potatoes of it all, which is to talk about sports and the celebrity of it. Moving forward, y'all, for some reason I keep losing my place, but what's new in the day of the life of LA? I mean, we don't have a bookmark. We don't have digital bookmarks on here unless y'all have those fancy schmancy computers where you can use a digital bookmark. We have here high road approach. Maye's refusal to engage with the drama and his focus on what people do in our building was misinterpreted by media personalities as disingenuous. So once again, high road approach. Maye refusal to engage with drama and his focus on, quote, what people do in our building, quote, was misinterpreted by media personalities as disingenuous. Patriots fatigue. Patriots fatigue. Hands in the air now. Hands in the air. If you, and Moo are also sick and tired of the Patriots. Look, I was just happy somebody else won. I could care less who the Patriots was going up against. I just wanted whoever they was going up against, who hasn't won in a while, I wanted that team to win. But since it was the Seagulls, I call them Seagulls. You know how I got confused yesterday. Seahawks, Seagulls seem like the same thing to me. I was just happy that it was a bird, because who don't like birds? You're lying if you don't like birds, because I'm looking at you right now while you watching me, while you in Church's Chicken drive-thru line getting ready to get you a 2-piece on a Tuesday. You know all the restaurants, KFC, Popeyes, Church's Chicken, always have a $2 something on Tuesday. So be quiet, keep listening to the show, and get me a 2-piece and a biscuit while you at it. What the bougie people say, and light on the ice. Boy, if you don't get somewhere and sit down, light on the ice. You want White Castle, not Church's Chicken. White Castle sell chicken sandwiches? I thought they only serve hamburgers. Hey, you learn something new every day. So, or is this a select thing we have going on over here? Wherever you're reporting from, is this like a select type of situation? Tell me something. Moving forward here, y'all, I don't want to spill my water. Let me bring some of these things back into the fold, meaning back into my work area, so I don't knock anything over. Patriots fatigue, according to AI Overview. As a high-profile young quarterback for, at the time, winning New England team, he has a natural target for national media narratives. Of course, because he's playing for a top-tier team, so anything adjacent to or part of, and even lightly proxy to, a team as big as the Patriots or the Detroit Lions, let's go, you gonna be well known whether you want to be or not. So if you have an issue with not wanting to be well known, don't go working for the NBA. Don't go working for the NFL. Go work in the soup kitchen somewhere. I'm getting ready to fix these lights to adjust with the moving of the times. Hold on here. I gotta make it bright in here real quick. Let me brighten up the light real quick and move forward with my day. I had to adjust my computer over here, y'all. Just a second. So y'all can see me over here. All right. Despite this, Maye has been praised for developing into one of the league's best young deep ball throwers, with teammates' support questioning why Smith continued to attack a player for focusing on winning. However, I was really now. Do they sell that at White Castle? Well, I'm almost finished with my sandwich. It pales in comparison to the White Castle food you're talking about. They don't. Well, they should. Everybody else catering to our appetites, our meaning the people. And I say that because don't Pizza Hut sell French fries now? So if Pizza Hut can sell French fries now, surely White Castle can sell jerk chicken sandwiches. High five. Bam. Welcome in and thank you for pressing the like button. I'm glad you are here in attendance on today on Morning Move. Stephen A. Smith versus Drake Maye of the NFL Patriots. And I don't know how in the world this tab just opened up right here, y'all. But I guess I'll let the computer take the wheel as I read this. You were in the hospital since 4 a.m. and you want some food. I hope that you will be able to be fed. I'm sorry you are in the hospital, but since you're on here talking, I'm going to believe that you are doing all right. So I'm sorry about that. And speedy recovery. So I'm wishing you a speedy recovery, and I'm wishing Drake Maye a speedy recovery. Good mercy. Drake Maye, why don't many people like him? What did Stephen A. Smith have to say about him yesterday on First Take? Following the New England Patriots 29-13 loss to Seattle Seahawks in Super Bowl 50 on February 8th, 2026, Stephen A. Smith addressed Drake Maye's performance on First Take yesterday, February 9th, 2026. Stephen A. Smith stated that Drake Maye never had a chance against the Seahawks defense. While he expressed sympathy for Maye and the Patriots defense, he remained critical of the team's overall standing, noting that he is not sold on the Patriots' AFC favorites for the next season. The tab is slowing your browser. Which tab? Fix this tab. Oh, really? Okay, ear tubes. Well, that's a good thing because that means she'll be able to hear. And number two, that means she was able to be taken care of. That's really cool. Congratulations on the ear tubes. I'm glad she was able to get fitted for those because when I was growing up, kids my age, they didn't have it like that. The technology today for kids with hearing impairments are the stuff today, the technology today is way better than the hearing stuff we had to grow up with. So congratulations on getting that worked out. Speedy recovery. That's wonderful. Well, hello to you and daughter. Speedy recovery. According to AI Overview, Stephen A. Smith comments 0209-2026 here. I'm going to put some hearts in here. This follows the season-long tension where Smith famously called Maye a liar in November 2025 after the quarterback claimed he didn't know which show analyst Cam Newton worked for. Dang. That's not funny. That's not funny. Despite a regular season where he led the NFL in completion percentage, 71.9%, and passer ratings of 113.5, Maye has faced significant backlash due to his historically bad postseason performances. Postseason collapse. After a stellar regular season, Maye's completion rate plummeted to 55.8%, y'all. In the playoffs, he set an NFL record by being sacked 21 times in a single postseason. I've heard of a sack of potato chips and a sack of flour. Moving forward. Super Bowl struggles. In Super Bowl 50, Maye threw 2 interceptions and lost the fumble. Critics noted much of his 295 passing yards came through, quote, garbage time when the game was already out of reach. And that is the verbiage that my cool peeps used yesterday in the live stream. They were talking about garbage time. And when I looked it up, sure enough, the phrase garbage time was flying through ESPN. After they summarized the results of the Super Bowl game. I've heard of the Garbage Pail Kids. Now we have garbage time. I can dig it. So moving forward once again, critics noted much of his 295 passing yards came through garbage time when the game was already out of reach. Perceived soft schedule. Many analysis, including Cam Newton, labeled the Patriots' 14-3 record as, quote, fool's gold, end quote, arguing they hadn't faced elite competition until the Super Bowl. The Drake curse. Social media fans jokingly and some seriously blamed the Drake curse for the loss after the rapper reportedly placed a $1 million bet on the Patriots. This is not the only time where I've heard of the Drake curse being the reasons to why teams lose. It's a sad shame. Was Drake even there at the game? Might as well ask since they brought it up. No, the rapper Drake did not show up to Super Bowl 50 at Levi's Stadium. Though rumors accredit that he may have bared some hindrance on the game being lost due to the, quote, alleged Drake's curse. So according to AI Overview, Drake did not attend the game, while other major celebrities like Kim Kardashian, Lewis Hampton, and Cardi B were in attendance. Drake was notably absent from the stands. Declined halftime performance. Drake reportedly turned down an invitation from headliner Bad Bunny to join him on stage. Sources indicate he declined to ensure the focus remained on Bad Bunny's historic moment rather than one on his ongoing public feuds. The big bet. Despite not being there in person, he made headlines by sharing a screenshot of a $1 million wager on the New England Patriots to win. Now, I don't remember honestly which YouTuber I was listening to where they mentioned that some celebrity did bet $1 million on the game. So perhaps Drake is the one they were referring to. Drake bet $1 million on Drake. I mean, when all else fails, bet on yourself. But in this regard, Drake Maye of the NFL Patriots allegedly contributed to the losing of the game. So Drake, the rapper, betted on Drake, and he lost. So I don't know if this is foreshadowing of what's to come to Drake's future, because they said you can always bet on yourself. But metaphorically speaking, he did bet on himself and lost. According to AI Overview, the Drake curse. After the Patriots' 29-13 loss, fans across social media attributed the defeat to the infamous Drake curse, noting that his public support often coincides with high-profile losses for the teams he backs. So once again, the Drake's curse has stumbled upon the team record time, and they lost. Which is why some people just can only do one thing. Some people can only just make songs. That's fine. Some people can only bake cookies, but they cannot fry chicken. Fine, go be great at just baking Go be great at just baking cookies. Okay. If you cannot fry chicken and bake cookies, it's not the end of the world. But I think since Drake has been deemed the Drake curse, maybe he should stop betting on stuff, because he keep on losing. So much to the point that they've coined it the Drake curse. You live and you learn. Thank you. You live and you learn. But maybe he don't have to lose a few more hands before he finally get it together. But so much about famous people and their finances, because we all know how they just blow through money. This time next year, they'll probably be setting the GoFundMe's under the guise of an AI generated person. Will you help me? But it's celebrities panhandling for money. Because after all, they're all setting up YouTube channels over here now. Now we have to fight for time. No, it's not even like that over here. It's enough room for everybody. But most people don't think it is. I refuse to run myself crazy, falling into the lie that there is not enough room for everybody on YouTube. You guys, I believe I finally covered everything on here. But before I go, one thing I do want to do for sure, guys, is write down this whole the Drake curse thing, because that's the last thing I read and talked about. So I'm going to write it down in my notes. The Drake curse. That's that on that. Before I head out, you have any questions or anything you want to add to regarding the Super Bowl? Did you see it? Did you even see the performance? Did you see Green Day perform pregame? Any commercials that you liked or didn't like? Overall, for me, I just glanced at the football game. My husband and I, it was on in the background. And overall, the football, everything was dry. The commercials were dry. The atmosphere was dry. So that's my take on that. I didn't want to see the halftime. But guys, I haven't flopped around the halftime game in years now. I just don't have too much interest in it. So it's not necessarily because Bad Bunny was on there. I haven't watched a halftime show in about what seems like 4 or 5 years. I just don't have any interest in it anymore, because the performances were lackadaisical, which is why. And then it made it painfully obvious that they were lip syncing. I'm like, where's the effort? So I just quit showing up and started wrapping myself up and just cooking food and getting, celebrating the whole thing of that. Cooking the food for the festivities, opposed to just hovering around the TV, getting disappointed. I'm going to check a couple things behind the scenes. on my computer before I roll out of here. But I am glad I was able to hold up my end of the bargain and show up today, albeit late. I did place the memo out late in the evening yesterday to let you guys know, my cool peeps, know that today's program was going to be scheduled for a later time. So thank you for showing up, those who did, and thank you for coming in my replay gang, because I'm usually here 5 a.m. ET time in the morning. My family's doing great. Everything is well. Thank you for those who were asking to make sure everything's cool over here. Yeah, we're doing great. You know, one of the perks of being a YouTuber is that when things come up, which happens in life, I can easily shovel my schedule around. As long as I let you guys know all is well. So yeah, thank you for inquiring about that. Tomorrow is the intentionally very long live stream show with Baskethead. I think this might be either voyage number 15 or 16. I've begun to lose count because I honestly didn't think Baskethead was going to be on this long. But he is here, also backed by popular demand, like your boy Hercules the Shark. So yeah, it's got to be voyage 15 or 16. Hold on, while I have this tab open, I can answer that for you. So just one moment, please. When I go to my list, I'll look in my column and let you know which Baskethead voyage will be on tomorrow. I appreciate you guys' patience. Okay, yeah, so tomorrow Baskethead will be on voyage number 15. The movie choice is selected. I just gotta get the flyers out. So last week's movie was an Indian-based movie created by a complete full team of Indian people, and it was a fun watch. I really enjoyed the movie. What made this particular movie so cool is because they've been telling this story since before I've been born. But I've seen images of this story since I've been born, but it's just been retold so many different ways, which is why I took a liking to the particular movie I watched last week. What made the movie so great that we watched in Baskethead, that it was a more up-to-date re-envisioning of the same story told since before I was born. It's basically you know how Americans have fairy tales and stuff? Well, it was basically the Indians' fairy tales and folklore. But they did a really good job. Thank you so much. I am super duper comfortable. We have our blankets or our onesies. We have our hot chocolate, tea, coffee. It's lunchtime. Now, usually I'm on super duper early in the morning. But the purpose is to just sit around and kick it with the cool peeps. You know how like our grandparents will go to McDonald's and order super hot coffee and sit at McDonald's and read the newspaper and fellowship? That's the thing with Morning Moo. We just sit around with our coffees and hang for a couple of hours, you know, and just talk about said topic. So I just answered the question first, which voyage Baskethead will be on tomorrow. Voyage 15. And I believe that's everything. Y'all, I'm happy for the turnout I had today. I'm going to get ready to move forward because before you know it, the sun will be getting ready to set and I'll still be sitting right in front of this computer running my mouth because I probably could. Due to imagination and just being used to having to find ways to entertain myself from being tiny, it paid off. I'm currently eating the rest of this popcorn and I have one more bite of sandwich. So everything is going according to plan for me in reference to sticking to my schedule as best as possible. One more bite of sandwich, so I'll finish my sandwich to say I completely ate my lunch. And now I have to focus on planning dinner. My sandwich is done. Almost finished with my popcorn. I'll get a sip of water and I'm out of here. For those of you who were here yesterday, we had a little over 17,000 people collectively. I think that's the biggest amount I've had on the live stream. So thank you so much for that. And I'm glad it was a big audience because you can help spread the word around to what happened to the little guy. Some of you are starting to call him the Pancake Man. You saw how he was weeping on the live stream when the Patriots lost. He couldn't even work, y'all. I told him to take the day off. He was crying all in front of the live stream. Bags under his eyes because the Patriots lost. I told him just take the day off. So I'm quite sure he'll be on tomorrow with Baskethead because he always finds a way to sneak on the mothership. And you know what else? The last Baskethead, he found a way to break into the kitchen on the mothership and start making pancakes. But it's coming out of his check, not mine. So that's all I have to say about that. I want to thank you guys for coming in today. My name is LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. My regularly scheduled time is 5 a.m. Monday through Friday ET time. Saturdays and Sundays are usually my scheduled days off, but every once in a while I will pop on randomly to talk about something I feel worthy of talking about, and I don't want to wait till Monday to come. Thank you to all my new subscribers. It's crazy. You guys are subscribing to me. Thank you. I'm getting ready to get out of here. You guys have a great day. And until next time, come on in tomorrow to It's the Intentionally Very Long Live Stream Show with Baskethead Voyage number 15. It is a movie watch party where we eat snacks. There will be like a laser light show while we're in the mothership. So if you have sensory issues, I do recommend that you do wear your shades because we have a lot of lights and stuff going on Wednesdays. Besides that, pull up a chair and be there. Bye-bye, y'all. All right.